The main event of night one, CM Punk with Paul Heyman versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. All right, so just right off the bat, the entrances were absolutely on point. Seth Rollins, he comes out in what had to be a very inspired WrestleMania 25 entrance from Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. So in it, Seth Rollins comes out first in black, and then the lights go out. And the lights come back on, and now he's dressed in all white. So that was really cool. And then we got the Roman Reigns coming out basically in phenomenal shape. Comes out with white gloves, white boots. He's also making history as this is his 10th time main eventing WrestleMania. Of course, he main evented more WrestleManias than anyone else in history last year by getting his 9th one, but now 10, just far more established there. So technically, I guess you could nearly say that Roman Reigns has main evented nearly 1/4, pretty much 1/4 of WrestleMania main events. And when you think about it, there's been 41, and he's main evented 10 out of the 41 WrestleManias. So that's really cool there. And during the entrance, they had these really cool images on these LED boards that were hanging above, showcasing all the greats of the Anoa'i Samoan lineage, which, hey, was a good night for them for sure, until we get to the ending main event here, that is. So yeah, from there, a pre-entrance video promo plays showcasing CM Punk's road to finally main eventing WrestleMania to his old WWE theme song, This Fire Still Burns by Kill Switch Engage. Man, that was awesome. I popped loudly for that because, yeah, that's around the time I first started following CM Punk's career. So, I mean, I've been following him since I was a teenager and everything. I could just really relate to him because myself, I'm straight edge. So when CM Punk came out on being straight edge and he doesn't smoke, drink, or do drugs, I'm like, oh, I can identify with this guy, and I'm still him to this day and everything. And I've been my whole life, honestly. So that was really cool. And then from there, we get Living Color. They're live in person singing CM Punk to the ring for WrestleMania, which was really awesome because check it out. During CM Punk's last WrestleMania match back at WrestleMania, I think it was 29 in 2013, that was CM Punk's last WrestleMania match, and Living Color singed him to the ring. And now here in his most recent WrestleMania matches of this live stream in 2025, Living Color back to do the same thing for his next WrestleMania match 12 years later. So I thought that was awesome. Really great to see the legendary Living Color. And CM Punk also comes out in a gray hoodie, just like he did back in that 2012/2013 period that Paul Heyman was managing him. So that was really awesome. So the match starts off with CM Punk exiting the ring and Seth Rollins trying to manipulate Roman's mind about how Punk shouldn't be in this match, which is really weird in the beginning. Like CM Punk, like, have you ever seen anybody so irritated and upset to be main eventing in WrestleMania? He doesn't deserve to be here, is what Seth Rollins kept saying in the early portion of the build-up, and I'm like, you're main eventing WrestleMania, it doesn't matter, right? So that was an interesting decision they made in that story that I didn't quite get, but I guess they're trying to say that's how upset Seth Rollins is with CM Punk, is that he's neglecting the whole idea that, hey, you're main eventing WrestleMania. You know, it's like someone gives you $5 million, you inherited $5 million, and someone else inherits $5 million, and you're like, whoa, he doesn't deserve $5 million, but you got $5 million, especially if the other $5 million was never meant for you. So if you weren't going to get $10 million regardless, be happy with your $5 million, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was. But as far as the match though, starts off really hilarious when Roman basically smacks Seth Rollins down to the canvas, and then the three battle it out, and it eventually pours into the audience where CM Punk gets hit in the back of the head with a trash can. I'm surprised they're doing spots like that to the head, but then it comes back to Seth Rollins. Then he comes back to Seth Rollins with a suplex on that same very trash can on the concrete. So if you grew up an Attitude Era fan like me, then you knew this type of stuff right here was just commonplace. Eventually you see CM Punk and Seth Rollins, they're battling closer to the ringside area, which then leaves Roman Reigns to do this amazing running leapfrog all over the barricade. Yeah, he does his leapfrog over the barricade, taking out both CM Punk and Seth Rollins, and they showed it in slow motion. Looked like something out of a superhero movie, man. He came in like a superhero flying. That was really awesome, and that was getting the audience. And I will say this, the audience definitely felt alive for this entire entire matches. I kind of knew it. Yeah, it was hard to tell who would be the heel because everybody, they just loved him. They were always singing Seth Rollins' song, singing Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, right? That's taken from the international audience and it's poured over here into the American audience. And then, there was always the CM Punk. So yeah, the audience was just taking turns, cheering for these all three of these guys. And so eventually, yeah, from there in the action, it finally gets back into the ring, and CM Punk, he tries to go for a running knee to Roman Reigns, but Roman catches him and turns it into a Samoan drop, and Seth Rollins then jumps off the top of the ring ropes, only then landing right into a smack from Roman Reigns. So Roman taking both these guys out basically. So Samoan drop to CM Punk, and then a smack to Seth Rollins, who tried to sneak attack, but to no avail. And then from there, CM Punk, he eventually gets some momentum in the match by delivering back-to-back multiple knees to the corners of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and then he lands a backdrop in DDT at the same time to Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. And Seth Rollins particularly, he sold the crap out of this, man. It was just, have you guys ever seen the one where Shawn Michaels is selling and he completely goes on his head and flips over to his back, but someone takes the screenshot where like he's just standing on his head? It's crazy. So crazy sell job by Seth Rollins. We get a really cool Doomsday device tribute to the Legion of Doom when Roman gets Seth Rollins on his shoulders to try and stop him from attacking CM Punk because he's trying to take advantage of Seth Rollins in this moment, and CM Punk takes the opportunity, does the clothesline, so yeah, it turns it into a Doomsday device. And then from there, CM Punk, he eventually gets a Uranagi and the Anaconda device on Roman Reigns, which is interrupted by Seth Rollins doing a frog splash to score a near fall. So there was just so much crazy back and forth sequences in this match that I thought was really awesome. Roman Reigns, during these moments, Paul Heyman's facial expressions are absolutely on point during this sequence and pretty much during the entire match. Alright, so yeah, there is an excellent sequence that calls back to Roman and Seth Rollins' previous matches over the years, where Roman goes for the spear, but Seth Rollins jumps up to counter it into a pedigree. He does the curb stomp to Roman Reigns, and then from there, he kicks CM Punk out of the ring and goes for the pinfall, only to get a near fall. And Wade Barrett on commentary was absolutely brilliant here because he talked about how, if you look at it, the fact that Roman kicked out barely at 3 means had maybe Seth Rollins not kicked CM Punk out of the ring, he maybe would have gotten that extra second he needed. So that was really awesome to see. Just really great attention to detail. I love when they have those attentions to detail and stuff. From there, we get another awesome sequence where CM Punk dodges out of the way to let Roman Reigns spear Seth Rollins, and then he nails GTS to Roman Reigns to get another near fall. Seth Rollins even didn't land a pedigree. He then lands a pedigree, I think. Yeah, he then lands another pedigree for another near fall. So the near falls were going crazy. Audience was totally invested in this. I was on the edge of my seat as well, because really, when you think about it, all three of these guys were established. Anyone could win, honestly, but there's not like, hey, these guys need to really win this match to be further established. They've made their place in history. CM Punk, he just won the main event WrestleMania, so it could be anyone's game as I was watching this match. And so from there, we get another awesome sequence where, so from there, it was Seth Rollins, he starts talking to Roman Reigns about how he's alone without Paul Heyman, without the Bloodline, without even Jon Moxley. So yes, we got a Jon Moxley reference on WWE programming, and then he tells Roman that they both need to work together to take out CM Punk, and this is where the story aspect of the match was really going to it. The story aspect of the match was fantastic because you knew you had three of the best storytellers in the ring going at it here. So Roman Reigns, he basically teases that he is going to let Seth Rollins know that we're going for the old Shield bomb. So he tells him, he just starts hyping over. He's like, get him up, get him up, get him up. But instead, Roman, he smacks Seth Rollins to the ground, and he power bombs both men individually through the two announce tables that are out there. fantastic stuff. And Roman Reigns, like, he's gonna do it all on his own. And what happens from that moment is that I legitimately thought the match was gonna end here. Roman throws Seth Rollins into the ring, hits him with the spear, only to get the 1-2.5 count. I was like, oh man, I'm like, okay, they had me there. That was a great near fall, and once again, had me even further on the edge of my seat, to the point where, oh snap, I gotta watch myself so I don't fall out the chair. So the audience was very much invested into this. From here, we get some more great storytelling moments as Roman Reigns, he trash talks about the favor, puts CM Punk in the guillotine, only for CM Punk to counter into the Anaconda Vice, which then is broken up by Seth Rollins, who then puts the sharpshooter and flips CM Punk off. They black it out, but he puts the sharpshooter off, sort of his nod to Stone Cold, I guess, and Bret Hart, since they went into the Hall of Fame for that match, only for Roman Reigns to break it up and puts himself, from here, he gets put into the Anaconda Vice by by CM Punk, which then you see him get pumped up for the curb. Yeah, you see him get hit with the curb stomp by Seth Rollins to score, once again, another near fall. I believe, apologize for my notes, I do voice to texting while I'm watching the matches and everything, so some of these words are not coming out right, yikes. But I believe it happened for the most part like this. Definitely check it out though, with your own eyes in this whole match, because this match is definitely worth going back seeing it. It was a crazy sequence. Eventually all three men are knocked down after seeing CM Punk. He hits CM Punk hits the GTS, and then Roman hits the spear. So the way the sequence goes, CM Punk, he hits the GTS to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns hits the spear, I think, and then Seth Rollins goes to the ground. But before Seth Rollins can go to the ground, he does the curb stomp to Roman Reigns. Then all three men are eventually down. So that's the way it was. Roman got hit with the GTS, and then from there, he hit Seth Rollins with Seth Rollins got hit with the Roman hit CM Punk with the spear, and then as Roman was on the ground to try and go for the pin, Seth Rollins came back with the curb stomp. I'm getting it all mixed up. It was just a lot to keep track of in notes here and everything, but there were some crazy sequences. After this, Paul Heyman grabs a steel chair, and this is where the audience goes like, oh, because we know we're about to see something going down here. CM Punk and Roman Reigns looking at Paul Heyman, and he's got the steel chair, and he's contemplating what to do, and eventually he gives the chair over to Punk. And from there, when CM Punk gets that chair and is about to go ahead and hit Roman with it, you see Paul Heyman bend down and he gives CM Punk the low blow, and the audience is like, oh. And from there, man, as CM Punk is on the ground holding his balls after Paul Heyman has turned on him again, because he turned him on him before, I think back in like 2013 to join Brock when Brock came back. Roman Reigns is smiling, and and from there, Paul Heyman, he gets on the ground on his knee. He kneels down in front of Roman Reigns, said, "You are my tribal chief," and hands the steel chair over to Roman. Roman then just starts going ham with the steel chair on CM Punk, just wearing him out. And then Paul Heyman points over to Seth Rollins, who's getting back up, crawling just like last year to the ropes to help himself up, and he starts yelling. He's like, "You go ahead." He says, "Now's your chance. Get your revenge." He just starts pointing at him. "Get your revenge on him. Get your revenge on Seth Rollins." And I'm thinking here, I'm like, no, that cost you last year, Roman. I'm thinking of the chair as a fan. I'm like, yeah, that cost you last year, Roman. So you knew something was up here. And so just as Roman's about to go ahead for that shot in the back again, you end up getting Paul Heyman, who now kneels down and gives a low blow to Roman Reigns, turning on him again, because I think he turned on him again during the Brock Lesnar feud, and then he went back to Roman Reigns for good until now. And the audience is like, oh. And then from there, Paul Heyman, he smiles, because before when he was going after CM Punk, he was crying and making like, "Oh, look what you made me do. You made me turn on my tribal chief." And then Roman Reigns, from there, he gets more smug and he's like, And Seth Rollins is then smiling, and he hands the chair over to Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins then takes the chair and bam, hits Roman Reigns right in the back of the chair, just like back in 2014 when he ended up, selling out to the Authority WWE, and it's from here that Seth Rollins is able to get the 1, 2, 3 and win the main event of WrestleMania 41 night 1. And from here, the audience was cheering. They were singing Seth Rollins' song, and they were going crazy for this. So it certainly, they did not react. The audience didn't react like this was a heel turn for Seth Rollins, but the commentators, they were going ham on the commentary. They were losing their minds, talking about how you're a no good SOB. How could you do that to your best friends, Roman and CM Punk and everything? But when you look at the story, I mean, when Roman Reigns, where was he? Where was Roman Reigns when he was getting tortured by Solo Sikoa and the new bloodline last year? Roman took a long time to come back, and he wouldn't answer any of Paul Heyman's text messages. And even then, when Seth Rollins was threatening Paul Heyman, why did it take CM Punk so long to come out there? So it looks like definitely Seth Rollins probably got back into Paul Heyman's head. I at the last minute changed my prediction to Roman Reigns, thinking I guess they're going to give Roman Reigns a big win to have him get a win back from last year, but I should have stuck with my original pick, Seth Rollins. It's just the problem with that in the story is I felt like Triple H and the booking and his booking team, they were making the creative for this. They were making it look too obvious. Like it looked like, okay, if you look at this, he's not going to go with CM Punk, he's not going to go with Roman Reigns, he's going to join Seth Rollins, but they kept making it look so obvious, and I'm like, no way they're going to go with it. But they did. They went with the very predictable and obvious route, and you know what? Predictability, ladies and gentlemen, is not always a bad thing. So it works. The story absolutely works, and I'm guessing, Roman Reigns, we probably won't see him again until SummerSlam, and CM Punk is still going to be featured in big matches, and him and Seth Rollins' feud is probably not over, obviously. And so we get there, and there you have it. Seth Rollins, he is now going to be aligned with Paul Heyman, meaning Paul Heyman will probably now be full-time on the main roster there. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm assuming that maybe eventually we'll see him and Braun Breaker maybe end up as a union or something like that. But yeah, the show ends with Seth Rollins leaving with Paul Heyman smirking, and Roman Reigns and CM Punk, as they go into like the post-show, they just look absolutely dejected. Roman Reigns, he's lost his wise man. CM Punk looks absolutely dejected. He lost his best friend. As Roman goes up the ramp, they play his music. As CM Punk goes up the ramp, they play his music. But in reality, I kind of figured CM Punk wasn't going to win this match because CM Punk has already really accomplished mostly everything there is to do in WWE. Main eventing WrestleMania was the big thing that he wanted to do, and he finally got that. So really, there's no harm. Seth Rollins winning this, Roman Reigns losing, and CM Punk losing. They don't really lose anything. They're still going to be very popular superstars. It's just with Seth Rollins, I figured like, and this is one of the things is like, what was the purpose of this match? And I think that's for a lot of people that they're wondering, like, what was the purpose of the match? It would have been nice had they made some sort of stipulation, number one contenders match for the world title, because they said they were using a lot of buzzwords to describe that this was going to be the most important match in WrestleMania history, or in WWE history, actually, right there. Yeah, there you guys see it. Paul Heyman turned on Seth Rollins. It was going to be the most important match in WWE history, and when we look at it, man, yeah, like, what? Roman's going to leave and come back again. CM Punk's going to still be featured. Seth Rollins is going to be there full time. So it's like, yeah, I'm not sure how much it really changes there. In reality, obviously, I believe Triple H, and rightfully so, he wanted to make sure Roman Reigns gets his 10th WrestleMania main event to even things out. Wanted to make sure CM Punk finally got his match at his main event at WrestleMania. And then in addition to that, I think he wanted to make sure Seth Rollins got another main event. And I believe that that's the biggest reason why Seth Rollins is going to go over, because Seth Rollins is a guy over the last few years, he's done a lot of losing to really help reestablish guys like Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, who were coming back into the company. He put a lot of hard work in to really bring legitimacy to that World Heavyweight Championship. And you look at it right there, I think Triple H definitely wanted to reward Seth Rollins there. So absolutely, I thought the storytelling was fantastic. Easily the match of night 1. We'll see how it ranks overall, depending on how the matches go for WrestleMania. We'll be ranking WrestleMania matches like I do every year, from least to best. So we'll see where it ultimately ranks up. But definitely, this is the best match of night 1, and the storytelling was on point, absolutely. So overall, I really enjoyed. These three guys went out there, laid it all on the line, and delivered what I thought was a very good WrestleMania main event easily. So much hat off to all these guys' performances.